How should I learn English?
Learn deeply.
How should I learn English?
Learn deeply.
Would you like to explain what do you mean learn deeply?
What do I mean by that? We have this idea of wide and shallow. Think of water, for example. Shallow water is like this. Deep water is like an ocean. Very, very deep. So when we're talking about learning something deeply, it means you totally learn it and master it. There's a great quote from a guy named Tony Robbins, which is this: repetition is the mother of skill. Repetition is the mother of skill. It means to be very skillful, to be very great at something. You've got to repeat it so many times. Well, that's basically what we're talking about here. Learning something deeply, totally, completely. Once again, it's the opposite of what happens in school in most English classes. What happens in the normal English class? The normal English school? The traditional way of learning? Well, you go very, very, very fast, right? Right? There's a lot of pressure to keep going, learning more, right? Because you have to finish the textbook. Every teacher feels some pressure to finish the textbook in the correct time, right? We have to finish the textbook this year. So next year, we can do the next textbook, right? We got to finish book number 1. We got to do it quickly so that next year we can do book 2. It would be terrible not to finish book number 1 this year. That's the idea that they have. And it's totally crazy and wrong. So here's what happens. Every week or every 2 weeks, you're learning something new in your English class. New grammar, for example. So you learn the past tense, and then 2 or 3 weeks later, oh, now you're learning the present perfect. And then a few weeks later, now you're learning the future. That is crazy. There is no way you can master and truly learn the past tense, for example, in just a few weeks. Even in just a couple of months. It's not possible. And then you start adding more and more and more and more. And of course, all the vocabulary lists. More and more and more every week. Another huge list of words to memorize. And there's all this pressure to go faster, faster, faster. So what happens, of course? You study all this stuff for the test. You memorize it, you take the test, maybe you get a good grade, maybe you don't. And then after the test, you forget a lot of it, right? Because you never learned it deeply. You just memorized it short term, and then you forget a lot of it. Or maybe you remember it, but you can't use it. I know you know the past tense, I know you've studied it, but do you always use it correctly? If the answer is no, if you still make mistakes, it's because you never learned the past tense deeply. Now, I have no problem with the past tense. Is it because I'm a genius? No. Of course it's because I learned English as a small child, and I mastered the past tense. How did I do it? How did I learn it so deeply? Through lots of repetition. My parents did not try to teach me the present perfect or the future progressive or something when I was very small. No, I heard the past tense again and again and again every single day, hundreds of times a day, thousands of times a day, until the past tense was so deep in my mind, I didn't need to think about it anymore. And I don't need to think about it. It's totally automatic. That is deep learning. That's what you need. You need to slow down and totally learn what you are studying, what you are listening to. You need to completely master it, to know it deep inside. Not just know it in your brain. It's the same with vocabulary. You might know a word, like if I ask you the meaning, you can tell me the meaning. But can you use it instantly in a conversation, a real conversation? If I say it in a conversation? Do you instantly and automatically understand it completely? If not, you have not learned it deeply.